12 or so Conservative members of Parliament submitted letters of no confidence in British Prime Minister Johnson today. 54 letters triggers a no confidence vote in Parliament. Several lawmakers say they believe that could happen as soon as next week. Prime Minister Johnson also got grilled today in Parliament. One lawmaker from his Conservative Party said it's time for Johnson to step down.
I expect my leaders to shoulder the responsibility for the actions they take. Yesterday, he did the opposite of that. You have sat there too long for all the good you have done. In the name of God, go.
In the name of God, go. At the center of this scandal, several parties held at number 10 Downing Street over the past 2 years. At the time of these events, the UK government imposed strict COVID restrictions on gatherings. In an interview yesterday, Prime Minister Johnson said nobody told him the parties would break COVID rules, insisting they were work events. But the leader of the opposition Labour Party says he's not buying the latest excuse.
This week, he's got a new defence. Nobody warned me that it was against the rules. That's it. Nobody told him. Since the Prime Minister wrote the rules, why on earth does he think that his new defence is going to work for him? If a Prime Minister misleads Parliament, should they resign?
That turned it up, and Prime Minister Johnson responded.
The right honourable gentleman is continuing to ask a series of questions which he knows will be fully addressed by the inquiry. He is wasting this House's time. He's wasting the people's time, Mr. Speaker. He continues to be completely irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant. So can Johnson survive this latest political setback? Sam Coates tonight outside number 10 Downing Street. He's the political correspondent for our sister network in the UK, Sky News. Sam, the pressure is increasing on him.
That's right. Boris Johnson is facing an investigation from one of his own officials into between 12 and 15 different, well, many people call them parties, that took place here in Downing Street and up and down Whitehall, where there are many government buildings at the height of the lockdown, where tough restrictions were in place. Many people couldn't see loved ones, yet there was the clinking of glasses in the Downing Street garden, and many inside government were able to have more fun than most of the population. One of those parties, Boris Johnson attended personally. Lots of criticism from the opposition about exactly what he knew before he walked out into the number 10 garden.
Sam, the PM has asked people to withhold judgment until an internal inquiry is underway. What's the latest on that investigation?
Well, this government official, Sue Gray, who's conducting the probe, is expected to report next week. She's expected to give essentially a factual account of what she's discovered happened, what the Prime Minister knew, and when. Many believe it could either seal the fate of Boris Johnson or give him a let-out, given that so many of his own party now are believed to want him to resign. Around 2/3 of the British public say in opinion polls that Boris Johnson should go. It could be shortly after that report is concluded by Sue Gray that we discover whether there is a concerted attempt to get rid of Boris Johnson by his own MPs in the House of Commons.
In the interim, is there anyone stepping forward vocally and with force to defend the Prime Minister, or no?
Boris Johnson is mounting something of a defensive operation, but the bigger thing keeping Boris Johnson in place is the fact that there is no obvious successor in the eyes of many Tory MPs. There are figures who might ultimately step up. They include his Chancellor, who oversees finances, that's Rishi Sunak, or perhaps the Foreign Minister, Liz Truss. But many of the Tories that I speak to aren't quite sure that either of those figures or anybody else at the top of the government table is quite ready. And because they don't want to take too much of a leap into the unknown, that's one of the factors actually keeping Boris Johnson in place right now.